One of your other projects you're working on, central bank digital currencies, is going to need to have a secure digital ID to allow people to transact in digital dollars in a safe way that can't be abused. And are you working internationally to try to get these secure digital IDs, as part of your negotiations on central bank digital currencies and others?
I think it's part of the discussion. I would say we're not as far along as your description would suggest on that, but it's certainly something you would need to be able to have it.
Will it be addressed in your white paper coming out this summer?
A lot of things will be addressed. I'm not sure if that would be it. That's something you certainly need that to, down the road. We probably will be. We're just laying it out right now.
Yeah, no, it's important for our economic recovery as well as planning to respond to China, frankly, on central bank digital currencies. So move it up on your to-do list. Thanks much, and I yield back.
Hard to say, really. If you're positing an actual reversal of globalization, that could have implications, as you suggest. But I wonder if that's really going to happen because of policies that we adopt. The technology goes instantly around the world. It's not going to be easy to stop that. The economy's become very globalized. And also, production technology is so much more efficient than it was. You can do things, with the new technologies. You can manufacture things here. It may or may not result in a lot of jobs in manufacturing, but you can certainly make things. There may be reshoring here that's actually quite efficient. Cost.
So the jobs will come back to the U.S., but they'll be taken by robots, sort of is here. Which
there is some of that.
There's some of that
in manufacturing, as you know.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And guys, I come back with that video just to make you think. And we had Jerome in the house yesterday testifying the robots are definitely coming. We have over 9 million job openings and no one wants to work because we know that free money. Jerome Powell knows that free money is going to end. Yes, the Democrats are talking about extending, but they're not going to extend it. We know what the New World Order works off. Create the problem. Wait for the reaction and run in with the solution. They're creating a problem. These people have to get back to work. Also, we have the eviction moratorium that's running out this summer. We already have governors rejecting money because the small businesses can't find workers. We have inflation that's going to kill the dollar for the short period. Then we know that people are going to beg the government. That's the reaction. And what is the solution? Cryptocurrencies, that programmable money, where the IMF will have total control with that digital SDR. If you have the New World Order book, you already know this. Because when it comes to the New World Order, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Maximum employment and stable prices.
Maximum employment and stable prices. Seems like both got some problems today. I want to spend a little time on the first. Why are the jobs numbers so bad right now?
Well, I think we're digging out of a very deep hole. We've made a lot of progress, but I would agree with you. We have a long way to go.
Over 9 million job openings. Over the past 2 months, only 800,000 jobs added back. That's pretty bad. Is there a specific reason you point to as why those numbers aren't where we would frankly hope they would be?
It's a good question, and my thinking is that there are some temporary factors that are weighing on job creation, and I mentioned those earlier. Another thing is actual hiring is at very high levels, but it's being offset by high levels of quits and retirements. So what's happening is that the net job creation has been lower, but actual hiring is high. And that's, in a sense, quits is a good thing because people are looking for jobs that they want more. Retirements are just something that happens.
What about unemployment benefits? Does that factor in as well?
It may be a factor, and it'll be a temporary one because something like 15 million people will see either those benefits disappear or significantly decrease.
My understanding is the state unemployment plus the federal enhancements, $37,000 a year. Might that discourage people from going back to work?
We're going to find out. We're going to find out because it's going to be gone really quickly.
I think we are finding out. You add in the stimulus package, child tax credit family of four, it's about $110,000. I mean, every single employer, literally every single employer I talk to in our district, and frankly, employers I talk to around the country tell me they can't find people to work. And you think it's more of quitting and retirements, or is it more unemployment, or a combination, or what is it?
I think in terms of things that are weighing on people getting in the labor force. I think it's those three things I mentioned. It's still some people are still afraid of COVID. Maybe they're living with someone who's vulnerable. It's also schools are closed still, and having schools be open again will free up a lot of caretakers. I think unemployment benefits too. I think if you would expect a really strong set of jobs numbers coming up beginning in the next month.
Didn't you expect higher numbers? Didn't you expect higher numbers in April and May?
Yeah, I did.
Which, I mean, sort of surprised me. I guess when you pay people not to work, you shouldn't be surprised when you don't have workers. I've never seen a situation like this where we now have, as the ranking member mentioned, we now have several governors, 25, I believe, who've turned back. We said we don't want the federal enhancement to unemployment. I've never seen that. I've been in politics 26 years. I've never seen governors turn down federal money. So I think that just underscores how serious the problem is. But you said you think it changes soon.
Well, we know that these benefits run out on the federal ones.
What if the Democrats renew them, which they're talking about doing?
Excuse me?
What if the Democrats renew them? That'd be a problem, wouldn't it?
Again, I don't comment on
legislation. No, but you said you expect it to run out and that will help. I'm asking you, that's not what Democrats are saying. They're talking about renewing them. And if it helps if they run out, if they renew them, won't that hurt?
Well, these are judgments for people who stand for.
No, I'm just following your logic. You said if it runs out, that will help the employment situation. I mean, I got employers.
I think we'll see strong job creation in the fall. I really do, and I think there are all these, as you point out, 9.3 million job openings, many millions of people unemployed. There seems to be some kind of a speed limit. It may just be that it's hard to match up with a new job, and people feel like they can wait a little bit longer and really shop carefully.
It seems to me, Chairman, and again, I know you're not going to comment on policies, but I don't know if the Democrats are doing anything right. They kept the economy locked down. They're spending money like crazy, proposing more, I think a $6 trillion budget the White House is proposing, all causing inflation. Inflation's went up the last 4 months, continues to increase. As we said, you got two mandates at the Fed, stable employment, low inflation. We got unstable employment, we got high inflation. And now they're paying people not to work, and that may continue. And then finally, on top of all that, they're thinking about raising taxes. I mean, this is amazing to me. First, you pay people not to work, and then the folks who are working, you're going to raise their taxes, and somehow they think that's going to help our economy, when, as I said now a couple times, every single employer I talk to tells me they can't find people to work. What do you think about all these policy ideas from the Democrats?
Again, it's not my job.
No, but your job is stable employment and low inflation. Right now we have 9 million job openings and inflation that's went up 5 months in a row. So something has to give. I'm not necessarily blaming you. I'm blaming the Democrat policies. And it seems to me the idea that they're going to extend the federal enhancement makes absolutely no sense. The idea they're going to raise taxes on hardworking Americans makes absolutely no sense. And the idea they're going to spend $6 trillion also makes absolutely no sense. So as I said, it seems to me they are doing everything wrong, making your job that much harder. With that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Police, and I want to thank Chairman Powell for being here today. Last summer, when the former Fed chairs, Bernanke and now Treasury Secretary Yellen, testified before this subcommittee, I expressed some concern that the excessive spending by Congress and money printing by the Fed might cause inflation. Mr. Bernanke denied this, saying that people said there'd be inflation in 2008, but they were wrong. Mr. Chairman, the numbers are in, and it looks like there's some inflation, at least the past couple of months, 4 and now 5%. When Congress spends trillions of dollars and the Fed prints money, something's got to give. Prosperity isn't created by government. I don't believe it's created by workers, by businesses, by entrepreneurs. Creating and inventing, innovating. I founded a healthcare company, grew that company up to over $200 million in annual revenue in just 8 years, and I have a little bit of experience on understanding how to create jobs, grow business, etc. And I genuinely believe those businesses out there are looking at this inflation as a tax. Now, it's a hidden tax, but they see it as a tax on their ability to B2B transactions with B2 customer. Every dollar the government spends has to come out of somebody's pocket. Whether it's through another tax or a reduction in their purchasing power, it comes out. And if we don't get our fiscal house in order, I worry that that inflation won't be transitory, as I know you've said both in the press and probably here today, and I apologize for being a little bit late. But my first question, Chairman Powell, are you concerned from an economic and really a national security perspective about Russia and China dumping the dollar and their what appears to be a move to some kind of financial alliance between the two of them?
You know, that's not something that's really within our bailiwick or on our radar screen. You know, the dollar is the world's reserve currency. There really is no currency that's close to being able to compete. That's because of our democratic institutions and our record of maintaining low inflation, and because we have open capital markets and are great traders with the rest of the world. I don't see anything changing in that anytime soon.
Do you see the threat of raising the capital gains tax to 40% as a challenge to those capital markets?
Again, I really don't comment on tax and spending proposals. We don't have any authority over that. Whatever the level of capital gains tax is something that is the business of elected officials, not the business of the Fed.
I appreciate that. Over the past 10 years, the federal government's net interest costs have grown about 25% relative to GDP, despite the historically low interest rates. If spending remains on its current trajectory and interest rates reach their historic average of 5.7%, do you think the federal government will be able to pay its bills?
I have no question that the U.S. government will be able to pay its bills for the foreseeable future. There's no case in which that would not be the case. We have the strongest and largest and most flexible economy in the world. It's also true, though, that we're on an unsustainable path and that we're going to have to address that. And as I mentioned, the time to address that is when the economy is strong, unemployment is low, and economic activity is high.
Is it possible that the high interest rate that we're seeing today is the start of something that could be as bad as the 70s? And if not, could you explain why?
You say higher interest rates or higher inflation?
Inflation, I'm sorry.
Okay. Very, very unlikely. What we're seeing now, we believe, is inflation in particular categories of goods and services that are being directly affected by this unique historical event that none of us has lived through before, called reopening the economy after closing it. So you see extremely strong demand for labor, for goods, for services, and you see the supply side caught a little bit flat-footed and trying to catch up. And you see bottlenecks and you see this all over the world, by the way. This is not just the United States. You see it everywhere, and it's very similar kinds of situations. And you have a central bank that's committed to price stability and has defined what price stability is and is strongly prepared to use its tools to keep us around 2% inflation. So all of those things suggest to me that an episode like what we saw in the 1970s, and I graduated from college in 1975. I had a front row seat. That nothing like that. I don't expect anything like that to happen.
Okay.
We're going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
This effort. And China has big plans for this. They intend to seed their digital yuan into the global environment by giving it away to visitors at next winter's Olympics. When they arrive at the airport, they're going to get yuan digital wallets. They're going to receive digital yuan. They're going to use it throughout their visits to Beijing, and then they're going to take it back to their home countries. They've seen this as a huge advantage. Why? Because who controls the underlying protocols, who controls the underlying standards of the future of money will control the future of money.